and gentlemen, Lipton! Hello, Red Bank.
Hello!
Dublin House. Second floor. Any nurses out there tonight? Alright, see, I kind of knew even before these little girls showed up there were nurses in the audience because I kind of seeded it with some of my wife's nurse buddies. You know, which sounds kind of sexual, you know, I seated the audience with my wife's buddies. Like we were having sex on the tables and chairs. Which we weren't, so, you know, if it's sticky, somebody probably just spilled their drink. Unless one of the other comics, you guys been having sex on it, no, and I know it wasn't Mackenzie. She's a good girl. She would lay a towel down. Spilled drinks, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Anyhow, I'll get to you ladies later, but some of you nurses over there, you work with my wife in postpartum, right? Okay, and for those of you who don't know, postpartum is where they take the mommies and the babies after the delivery room. Now I got a question for you. You can help me with this. My wife used to come home from work and claim that she'd have to train the new mommies to pull and tug on their nipples to help get the milk flowing. Now here's my question. Is that for real? Or was she just trying to get my engine revving? Real? Thumbs up, alright. Now follow-up question. Now when you guys would do this, would you like demonstrate by like whipping it out?
Yeah.
Now I know why Ben Stiller wanted to be a nurse. And would you ever like go up to the woman and pull and tug and maybe dial Tokyo, Chris, so that you get kind of a tactile sensation, you know what she's... Yeah?
Yeah.
Honey, you heard what Chris said about the blowjobs and all that? Okay. Anyhow, you answered my question. That's hot. You answered my questions. I'm gonna return the favor, you know, and this goes for you young nurses too. Who's dating the nurse? Who's dating? Stick around. I've got advice for you. Oh, jeez. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, I'm going to give you some advice. I'm going to give you a medical education, and you ladies too. You know, I'm going to tell you about a medical syndrome you might not be aware of. I mean, I don't know, maybe you are, but we'll see. But because of that, you might be able to count tonight as like continuing education units or credits or something, which means that everything you spend tonight, the cover charge, the drinks, the tips, all tax deductible. I mean, that's how Goldman Sachs works it, right? They get a $1,200 hooker, all right? Partway through the interactions, they say, how's business? And here's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter what she says. She could say business is great, or she could say business sucks. Hooker, business, on to the next one. Or she could say, it doesn't matter, it's a tax deduction. And when they enter it on the accounting pad, they'll put something, I don't know, auditing her assets, or, you know, overhead. Anyhow, on to the medical syndrome. I'm getting their attention, I think. They wanted it to just got out of school. My dad used to have a blood pressure cuff at home. You know, what do you call that? A sphincter manometer or something like that? And he used to check his blood pressure, and it was always good at home, but some of the time when he'd go to the doctor's office, some of the time it'd be like off the charts. And the doctor would want to put him on medication. He'd be confused. I don't understand. Have you ever heard anything like this? Yep. Does it have a name?
White coat syndrome.
White coat syndrome. You think that's what... Have you heard of this? And you heard of it too, the episode, Twitter Lady. Well, for those of you who don't know, thank God for that. I can't even see the lights on my... Anyhow, look, for those of you who don't know, white coat syndrome refers to the fact that some people are afraid of doctors and medical tests. When they see a doctor, you know, the guy in the white coat, They panic and boom, 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 boom. Their blood pressure goes up, but that's not what my dad had. All right, you thought you had me. But it was something similar. It was something similar. My dad suffered from white woman syndrome. All right? It was the times my mom would go with him, and a half hour, 45 minutes in the waiting room with her. It's like, Murray, after we leave here today, we got to go to ShopRite. They're having a can sale. 50% off all canned goods. The lima beans that are normally 68 cents, half price, 34. We're going to stock up. And I hear the green corn is good too. Got a call from my sister. Mom has a stomach virus. Sent my sister into a nervous breakdown. She's going to have to come stay with us for a while. And when you go into the doctor, tell him about your toenail fungus. And she'll be saying this in a loud voice in the waiting room. Last time you went, you forgot to tell him about your toenail fungus. Beach season is coming up. It's very unsightly. And white woman syndrome. Thank you, Keith. Now, here's something else. It's genetic. I've got it too. All right. Only I don't get high blood pressure. I get this weird heartbeat. The doctors call it ventricular bigeminy. You should know this, ladies. You just got out of school. There will be a test later. Ventricular bigeminy, and if you Google it, you'll find out it's associated with sudden death syndrome. How fucking cool is that? I could click off like a light switch. And the number one trigger is my wife pissing me off. It's like, Dave, your hair's thinning. Can you do something about that? It's not that attractive. And by the way, I'm looking into getting the basement finished into a little apartment so we can move my mother in. Downstairs, she won't bother anybody. And next time you go to the doctor, ask him about your fucking toenail fungus. Now to the boyfriend of the nurse, here's a heads up. You know, I married a nurse, which if it sounds like a 1950s horror movie, it ain't far from the truth. I married a nurse. Angel of mercy by day, by night psychotic lunatic. I married a nurse. The patient was still in their room. So who was Dr. McSweaty operating on in the OR? I married a nurse. How many enemas can one man take? Coming to a theater near you. You know, you marry a nurse, you think you're going to marry somebody compassionate. Enjoy it while you can. 6 months out in the field, if you're not spurting arterial blood out of your neck, or if there's not bones poking out of your arm, you ain't shit. You know, and they're schizoid. You don't know if you're going to get Florence Nightingale or Nurse Ratched. And that's because they're two nurses in one. And the older people know that's a reference to an old Doublemint commercial. You younger people don't get it. That's why old is cool. They're schizoid. You don't know what to expect. And these are all true stories. On Monday, all right, I'll go up to my wife and say, you know, I don't think I'm feeling that good. I think I'm going to go to the doctor. Pay attention. This is the compassion thing of the boyfriend. I'm not feeling that good. I'm going to go to the doctor. You don't need to go to a fucking doctor. It's just a virus. He's going to give you antibiotics. $30 copay for the doctor. $20 copay for the antibiotics. Suck it up, wimp. Now, those aren't her exact words, but the tone of voice is there. But that's Monday. Okay, so I think I know what to expect. But on Tuesday, I'll go up to her figuring I better screen things past her first. Honey, I got this rash on my arm. What do you think it is? What am I, a fucking doctor? Why are you asking me? It gets deeper. Oh, don't go away. It gets deeper. I might have a hangnail, you know, where you rip your nail a little bit and it starts to bleed. I know it's a little gross, and I'd show it to her. It just happened to be this finger. It's a coincidence. And I'd say, honey, look at the hangnail. Say, get that out of my face. It's disgusting. I'm nauseous. I'm going to throw up. Which I would understand from a civilian population, those of you who aren't nurses or recently graduated nursing students, and from me, the wimp husband. But I know on Thursday, this is the same woman that's going to come home from work, happy and excited, dancing in the room. You'll never guess what happened, honey. What's that? They amputated a leg. I got to carry it. It was awesome. I'm not making this up, ladies. And if you follow the line of reasoning, it probably wasn't a healthy leg she was dancing around the room with. Let's take it a step further and bring it to Friday. Am I on Friday? Right? She will come home even more happy, more excited. Her nipples are popping out of her dress, out of her skirt, or whatever the hell she's wearing. So they resected a valve. I got to dig my hands in and hold the valve. She's happy. She's excited. All right? And even Justin Flanagan can finesse a happy, excited woman into horny. But it's the surest... Well, Johnny's great. He's like the girlfriend that has orgasms really easy. And tells you how big you are and really means it. So back to Bowel Girl. It's the surest form of birth control I know. Because how often will you see an otherwise horny guy talk to a willing woman and say, don't touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Wash those hands. I'm going to go out for a few drinks and try and forget about all this. Holding a bowel is not exactly the biggest turn on in the world. All right, one more quick story. A lot of you nurses don't know, you ladies probably don't know this, but doctors frequently use nurses as a diagnostic tool. Right? When I first had this problem with the ventricular bigeminy, they whisked me off to the emergency room, hooked me up from top to bottom, and left me there to sit for 3 hours. And every 20 minutes or 30 minutes, this really hot nurse would come by and say, are you okay? And I'd say, yeah, I'm okay. And then after about 2.5 hours, I had to take a leak. So when she came by, I said, can you unhook me? Because I got to take a leak. And she said, well, the doctor hasn't seen you yet. I can't unhook you, but I'll bring you a pee jug. Now, I'm sure there's some official medical name for it, but it's a plastic jug you pee in. It's a pee jug. I'm getting to the part about the diagnostic test. So she goes back, she brings back the pee jug, she's holding it in front of me, and she says, do you need help with that? And right away, there was a little devil on one shoulder and a little angel on the other shoulder. And the little devil was saying, she's going to touch her pee-pee! She's going to touch her pee-pee! Ah! Ah! And the little angel said, well, fuck the little angel, because who wants to listen to him anymore? And that's when I and the doctor knew I was not that sick. Anyhow, thank you very much. Been a great audience. Andy, Steve Lipton, everybody.